What's this week been like for you?
It's been a lot of, it's been a lot for me, emotionally, spiritually. When I was out on the field, I was damn near about to start crying, but not because we won, but just because of the goodness of God and just how everything, works for the greater good, everything that I've been through this past week, everything that we've been through as a team these past 7 weeks. It was a lot of ups and downs. I got a lot of support from my teammates, from my brothers, from my family, from my friends, and most of all, I'm just thankful, thankful for the Lord's that He blessed me. I mean, shoot, yesterday I'm praying like crazy, just for a win, and this I'm gonna get pretty vulnerable right here, but this week I kind of I found myself in my closet crying, on the ground, laying down, not because of the hardships, not because of the troubles. I felt like I was built to handle that, and I was put in place to handle this situation. But in that moment when I was talking to my best friend, how hard it was, and just not wavering faith-wise, I just had gotten a text from my sister and my stepmom, and it was just an encouraging text on just keep going and keep spreading the faith, and they just sent me a link on social media, and I tell you guys all the time that I'm not on social media, so I didn't see it. So that was just it was just a sign from God for me to keep going, and that I'm in the right place. Yesterday I was just praying over and over and over again, like just one win, and but all that to say is that God is real, God is good, and everything that we go through in this life is for a purpose. So. Yeah.
How did it mean to do that today after all that, like to have that type of performance and get the win?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing was the win. Not for me, but for my brothers in that locker room, for the coaches, for everybody that puts in work. So I'm glad we were able to do that. I'm glad we were able to, come out and leave here with the W.
Justin, what was the most difficult aspect of the last week? Because there was a lot of stuff that was going on, obviously, in the game. The way not know what was going on in terms of starting.
The most difficult thing was, I don't know. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't necessarily, the football stuff. It was more so on a spiritual level, and just making sure, I told you guys after the game last week, I've always wanted to be a vessel for God, and like I told you guys last week, we just don't get to choose the opportunities or the situations to where we get to present Him to others. So that's why after the game I did what I did, and it was just a confirmation for me throughout the week that I was in the right spot. I was in this moment for a reason, and He put me here for a reason. So like I told you guys, this football stuff is cool and all, but it's football. I'm focused on my life, my peace, my happiness, my joy. But like I said, football is football. I'm always going to love the sport. The sport's done a lot for me, but the toughest thing was just like on a spiritual level. And I told God, I was like, yo, it's hard right now, and just please help me out a little bit. And he did just that. So I'm thankful for Him. But yeah, like I said, it was nothing had to do with football. Football is football, but it was so much more just about the journey, and about how we got to this point, and just facing adversity and fighting through adversity.
When were the moments that you did find yourself crying, and what brought that on?
Like I said, I was just got done in my kitchen watching some film, and my best friend was with me, so. He's literally my brother, but we're just talking about life as we always do, and we were just communicating, and I was just telling him like, yo, I know God like put me in this position, but it's hard to block out what the world calls success, and the success of God and what He calls success. So you kind of want both, but you're not always gonna get both. But like I said, I was just like literally just in the kitchen talking about how hard it was from him, and then boom, I get that text right then and there. So I'm just thinking like that's literally a sign from God, and it just shows like that He's always with us. He's always with us through everything we go through, and every situation we're in, and He's never gonna leave us. He's never gonna forsake us. So like I said, it's all glory to Him, and but other than that, I'm proud of the guys and proud of everyone.
Is your friend football friend or just a friend from home?
No, he's my friend from home. Known him since 8th grade, but he's my best friend. So yeah.
Is there last one here, Justin? Is there any part of you that feels a little redemption after the week you went through, people questioning you, and then going out and playing as well as you did today?
Like I said, like I said earlier in the week, I'm not worried about what anybody outside of this building has to say. Really, what anybody else has to say. That's not on my team. That's not my teammates nor my coaches. So all the outside noise, y'all can deal with that. Whoever wants to deal with that. But my main focus is, my teammates, myself as a person, as a human being, and really just with my relationship with God. So like. There was no quote-unquote redemption or no quote-unquote all of that. Like, all of that stuff is cool. I don't care about it. So.
Thank you, everyone. I just had I wasn't really referring to the outside. I was referring mainly to Woody because, that's what.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, that's outside noise at the end of the day. I get that he's the owner of the team, but, that's outside noise. The biggest thing was my teammates believing in me and my coaches still believing in me. And,
Thank you, Justin.